Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Temple Beth Shalom and to this wonderful evening that we are all so fortunate to be part of. I am Hazan Weber. I'm the cantor here. For those of you who don't know what a cantor is, I'm sort of the clergy music person. So I wanted to start this with a song. This song is a song of peace. It's called Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu Salam. The words mean Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu is, again, peace will come upon us. Salam is the same word in Arabic as it is in Hebrew, shalom, which means peace. And the rest of the words are it's salam aleinu va'al kol ha'olam, salam, shalom, peace among us and all of the world, salam, shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam, salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam, salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam, salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam, salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Salam.
Thank you, Hazan Weber. We actually feature Hazan Weber every Friday evening at 7 p.m. And then he's kind enough to join us at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. So you're all welcome to come anytime you'd like. On behalf of Temple Beth Shalom, it's both its professional and lay leadership, may I welcome you all. My name is Rabbi Joel Mishkin, and I would like to welcome all of our guests, our friends, our congregants, and seekers of peace. I have had the good fortune of serving this congregation now well into my 19th year. I know you thought I was like 12. I mention that because I personally had the privilege of being the rabbi of this congregation when Herman and Sally Boxer were still alive, among us, and faithful attendees of our synagogue. I mean, I actually remember where they used to sit. All I can say about the two of them, they were two of the most impressive individuals that I ever had the pleasure of meeting. They were elegant, they were polite, they were gracious, they were graceful, and they understood the true meaning of diversity in faith and they were firmly committed to those fine ideals. I would like to think that perhaps they're looking down upon us now, this evening. I know that they would be very proud that such a thoughtful, courageous, and necessary program is taking place at Temple Beth Shalom in their name and in their memory. Their son, Dan, who has obviously inherited all of their positive characteristics, along with his wonderful wife, Lytton, have brought our guest speaker to us this evening. Dr. Abuelaish will, we're going to let Dan, since he actually helped plan the program and really spurred the program, Dan is going to introduce Dr. Abuelaish to the congregation. But I want you to think about something for just one moment. There are people like Dr. Abuelaish that still provide those of us who pray for peace not only the elusive dream, but also the genuine hope. And here I quote scriptures, that someday nation will not lift up sword against nation, and neither shall they learn war anymore. Amen. Please give me the honor this evening of introducing Mr. Dan Boxer, who will introduce our very special guest speaker. And thank you all for being here.
Good evening, everybody. And on behalf of the Herman and Sally Boxer Diversity Initiative.
You're clearly not a pulpit rabbi. Get right up there.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Should I repeat myself? No. Okay. My name is Dan Boxer, and I welcome everybody on behalf of the Herman and Sally Boxer Diversity Initiative. Like all events, this occasion could not have happened without a lot of help from the community. And I mean the community, and I mean most of the people I'm looking at here in this room. We've had so much support. I should say I'm speechless, but I'm not that way. But my sister Lois, who's in the front row from Chicago, and my wife Lytton, and my cousins from California and Iowa, who came to this event, want to make some special thanks. First, I want to thank Shel Gensler. Shel Gensler is the doyen of our temple. I wouldn't say one of the youngest members, but a long-standing member. He recommended 7 months ago that we bring Dr. Abuelaish to come down to Sarasota if Dr. Abuelaish would be willing to come. There he is. Shel Gensler also recommended our first speaker, which was Morris Deese, the founder of the Southern Poverty Law Center. And that too was a very moving occasion. So you will be our talent scout, Shel, for time to come. I also want to thank others at the synagogue for their support. And I want to give special thanks to Jerry Ronkin, who really helped with his advice, and Elaine Tedesco, who you can see how well everything has gone, and I really appreciate it. And Rabbi Mishkin, you have been a continuous support for us and for our program. I'm doing what the rabbi does, throughout the year. I want to thank Samir Khatib, who's become a friend and help us reach out to the Muslim community here. And I'm happy to say we have a number of people from the mosques that are here. And he made the visit of Lytton and me to the mosque a few weeks ago, such a wonderful event, and we were received with such hospitality. And then there is the Florida Holocaust Museum. I think Beth Gelman is here, the new executive director of the Florida Holocaust Museum, and as well as Jay Kaminsky. And they are supporting us with the coffee reception afterwards. They also partnered with us for our second major event, From Swastika to Jim Crow, which was held last year at the Florida Holocaust Museum in St. Petersburg. Tomorrow, which is really wonderful, we're having a special event only for high school students, which will be held at the Florida Studio Theater. And I thank everyone at the Florida Studio Theater for helping us. They provided the auditorium, and they also provided all the publicity. I want to thank Embracing Our Differences and Michael Shelton for organizing the buses and arranging with the teachers. And I'm very happy that tonight, due to the full capacity at the high school, we have a number of students that I can see there from Riverview High School, and I wish you could raise your hands, folks. They are here, came specially, and give them a round of applause. Finally, I would like to give a special thanks to Judge Charles Williams. He has been a mentor to me, although younger, and in a way like Jerry, but in many different ways. He has not only helped me on this occasion, but many others, and I want to give him a special thanks, as well as Jackie. In an article in the New York Times Magazine in January, Shimon Peres, the president of the State of Israel, stated in an interview talking about the situation in Israel and in Palestine. And I'm going to quote him here. I quote, "People usually tend to believe grim words rather than positive ones. When you say, as I do, that you are a confirmed optimist, you are seen as unbalanced. But if you look at history, you will see that it is an ongoing failure for pessimism, not for optimism. It has befallen me to live for many years, and throughout them I have seen that faith triumphs more than cynicism or skepticism." Our guest tonight, Dr. Izzeldin Abuelaish, is an embodiment of this idea. Despite the most horrific, and I mean horrific, personal tragedies, which I believe you all know, he has been a messenger of peace and understanding because of his innate faith in humanity and in God. And I'm going to insert something here. I drove down with Dr. Abuelaish from Tampa Airport this afternoon, and just in that short time, I realized what a special human being he is. Dr. Abuelaish, a doctor born into poverty in Gaza, has dedicated his life to promote peace and understanding between Palestinians and Israelis. His vehicle has been medicine, as well as his story. As Israeli colleagues call Dr. Abuelaish, he's a magical secret bridge between Israelis and Palestinians. Dr. Abuelaish has been nominated 3 consecutive years for the Nobel Peace Prize. He has won and received, I should say received numerous awards throughout the world. And indeed, when I picked Dr. Abuelaish up tonight, he had just left an award ceremony, and please correct me if I have it wrong, where he was given the highest order of the state of Ontario in Canada, and the Queen Elizabeth Jubilee Medal. That was last night. So as you can tell, I could go on and on and on, but I want you to meet Dr. Izeldin Abuelaish.
Thank you. I learned in life, the one who is not thankful to people is not thankful to God. I would like to thank Dan and all of those who were behind this beautiful gathering, which is an indication of hope. As I fully believe where I learned from my daughters. My daughter Bisan one day said, everything starts small, then becomes big. Everything starts in one place and goes in different directions. This meeting started by one idea, by one man. And you see how many people, when we all come together, we can make a difference in this world. So it's time for each of us just to start and to do something. I came to speak in this holy place with an open mind, heart, and ears. And I hope all of us to be coming with the same goodwill, to have open minds, hearts, and ears, because these sensations are there to use them, not to block them and to seal them. In my life and in life, we are faced by challenges, ups and downs. And we see it on a daily basis. We are tested every day in life. But at the same time, we need to learn how can we challenge life challenges, and most important, to challenge ourselves by taking responsibility and moving forward. As a Palestinian, but which Palestinian? A Palestinian refugee who was born, raised, lived in refugee camps, in the teeming poverty, deprivation, and suffering, that as a child, I never tasted my childhood. I don't know the meaning of a childhood. And this sometimes makes me angry. What world are we living in? When I see other children in this world, hundreds of millions of children are suffering the same. The world didn't change. But my suffering I wasn't born with. And that's the hope. The suffering in this world is man-made. Anything from God, where I fully believe everything from God is for good. And God wants every good thing for us. What is bad is what do we do as a human. And that's the hope. What can we do to challenge this man-made suffering of not accepting it? I said, I will never accept the misery of life. and our parents who were not educated. And the Palestinian mother, where I learned from my mother, the Palestinian mother is the hero, where they realized that the biggest weapon to face the misery of life is education. To invest in education. We don't know impossible things, you must succeed. I dreamed as a child, because in life someone can oppress, can occupy, can deprive, can imprison, can do everything, but no one on earth can prevent us from dreaming. I encourage each of you to dream big. Dreams are close to reality. With hard work, we can achieve our dreams. I dreamed as a child to be a medical doctor. And life taught me nothing is impossible in life. But, as I said, where I was born, I was fighting to survive. My life was a war. I don't know if I am going to survive the other day, just to run that day. Anytime you see others in this world who are living to fight, and that's the question, where we were born to survive and live and give life to others, or to fight and kill others. The most difficult time in my life, and in our memories, certain numbers we will never forget. Number 16 will never be erased from my mind. 16th of September 2008, 4:45 p.m. is the day when I lost my wife of acute leukemia. I thought it's the end of the world, because I fully believe children to be raised, they need the mother. The mother is the big incubator. The mother is the big heart. And my faith taught me the orphan is not the one who loses the father. The orphan is the one who loses the mother. With the loss of the mother, we lose the big heart, the love, the support. And personally, I know what is the meaning of a mother. When I was a child, if I want to lose or with whom to live, I will say I want to be with my mother. The mother is the one to bring all of us together. I was blessed to have 6 lovely, beautiful, bright daughters that I was proud of them. They were girls that I helped them to plan their life. But for me, I have to dream, because I don't have the resources, or my parents, they don't have the resources to enable me to plan. But my daughters and the children help them to plan their life. Their teachers were fighting to have them in their classes. They never succeeded in their school, less than 97%. They were girls armed with love, with education, with the plans, with the humanity. They were fighters for humanity. I taught them to be human and to behave as a human. Bisan was the first Palestinian girl to send to peace camps, because I believed in it, and it's time for us to learn and to listen to our children. They are wise enough to teach us, don't underestimate them. She was 14 years old. She came back and to say, I found how similar are we. Our children, they found how similar are we as Muslims, Jewish, Christians, Bedouins, Buddhists, as a human, and that we are equal. and similar. At the same age, she said, to meet violence with violence doesn't solve any problem. It will never lead to any way. She was the one to say to me, count on God and our support. You have to continue your work. As I was the first Palestinian doctor to practice medicine in an Israeli hospital, I started it in 91 during the first Intifada, because at that time the Israelis used to see Palestinians as children throwing stones or workers. It's time to see Palestinians as a human, as others, as equal, as skilled, as free as others. And medicine, it has one face, it has one culture, it has one value. It's a human face, culture, and value to save life and to give life. The happiest moment in my life, when I handle the baby to his mother. The cry of the newborn baby is a cry of hope, but at the same time, it's a responsibility. What the future is waiting for this newborn baby? That's what do we want to ask. Medicine is the human equalizer and stabilizer. It equalizes between people. Why not to be equal outside the borders of the hospitals and to practice it and to fight for it? Because advocacy is to fight. It's not just to talk. In medicine, we fight to save one's life. And all faiths values a human life. Saving one's life, you save the world. Killing one, you kill the world. It's time to look at a human being as a human being and to value their human life. Bisan, from whom I will continue to learn and to remember. She was in her final year at the university to get BA from the university and to be the first at the university to get it in 3 years. She said, as most of the students, they think the most difficult time in their life or the nightmare is when they have academic exams. She came to say to me, now, I realized one thing, that academic exams are the easiest in life. The most difficult exams are the life exams. When we are tested by the loss of the beloved ones, and we as Palestinians, we are tested every day in this world, and the world is watching it. I continued my work, counting on God and my daughters and the children. Then the unexpected happened. 16th of January 2009, 4:45 p.m. Just 4 months later, when the Israeli tank shelled to bomb my daughter's room, killing 3 daughters and 1 niece. For nothing they did. And there was no reason to be killed. As I said, they were girls, as every girl. But as a Muslim, as a believer with deep faith, I fully believe everything from God is for good. I said this tragedy is for good and must be invested for good, because it happened seconds after I left my daughter's rooms. If I stayed with that, if I stayed 5 seconds, I would be gone with them. And to be added to the numbers. Because at that time, and in this world, we see it on daily basis. Hundreds of thousands of children are killed of disease, of gun, of poverty, of suffering. And we see them as numbers. Thousands. It's shame to look at a human being as numbers. Human beings are human beings. They have names. They have faces. They have plans. They have parents. They have families. They have a future. It's shame to look at a human being as figures or statistics. I said this tragedy is for good, and it's God's plans at that time, where it was a plan to be interviewed live by the Israeli TV. So my cries were heard through the TV to spread, to cross the barriers and to open the eyes and the ears of the people in this world, and to put an end to the suffering and the killing. I was blessed to be a medical doctor. My daughters, Bisan, Mayar, Aya, and Noor, my niece who were killed, I can't do anything. But I can do something to those who were severely wounded. And I managed many emergency situations. I started to think, what can I do for my daughter, my niece, and the brother who were severely wounded? What a future is waiting for my children? When I started to look at my son, Muhammad, who was 12 years old, what a future is waiting for him? Is he going to be, what do we call, violent? What do we call to become terrorist? My son wasn't born violent or terrorist. Because violence and terrorism and hatred, it's like diseases. They are not taught. They are made, manufactured. It's a result of exposure. The one who becomes sick as a result of exposure to a risk factor, to a microbe, to a virus. And if we want to treat, not to blame the patient that you are sick, you are violent, we need to ask 5 times why. What do we call this child, this man to be violent or to be sick? We need to take the history and to treat the causes, not to treat the symptoms. We don't treat symptoms, we treat diseases. And violence, it's a disease. We need to get rid of this disease by finding out the roots of the problems. While I was crying, the first message of support came from this 12 years old son, when he looked at me and to say, why are you crying? Why are you screaming? You must be happy. He said, my son doesn't know that his sisters, Bisan, Mayar, Aya, and his niece Noor are killed. He wants me to be happy. How? He said, no, I know my sisters are killed. You must be happy that I know my sisters are happy there. They are with their mom. She asked for them. That's the Palestinian, 12 years old, son who believes, who supports, who leads. I said, I don't need to worry about him. Just to carry the pain, the wound, to move forward. As Einstein said, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep balanced, we must keep moving. I kept moving faster, stronger, more determined, not to give up or forget. And since then, I am devoting my life for my daughters who are there and my children who are living, and their message to spread it. Since then, I swore to God, I will never rest. I will never relax. I will never give up, because I see them. They are with me. They are living with me. They talk to me. What did you do for us? Did you forget us? I say to them from here, I didn't forget you. I am sending you prayers and the blessings. I will continue till I need them one day, because I fully believe I will meet them one day. But I want to meet them one day to say to them, I am proud of you. I didn't forget you. Your holy souls and the blood wasn't waste. It made a difference in others' lives. I am coming to meet you with the big gift. It's the justice and the freedom for you and others in this world, but which means to be used. It's the means that we all are blessed to have. It's not the bullet which was used to kill them. There are stronger means than the bullets. It's the wisdom, the kind words, and the good deeds. Words are stronger than bullets. The bullet kills once, but the word continues to impact the lives of others. I will continue my life devoted for this cause, because I fully believe this world can endure, and nothing is impossible in life. The only impossible thing in life I believe in is to return my daughters back. Anything in life I planned from nothing, I succeeded to achieve. From Jabalia camp to Cairo University to study medicine there, to London, to be the first Palestinian to work in an Israeli hospital, to do a subspecialty, again in London, Italy, and Belgium, to Harvard University. This proved that nothing is impossible in life. It took time, because I wasn't born with a golden spoon in my hand. I made it, and I can make it, and to continue to make it. That's why, as a doctor, I will never lose hope. Maybe the situation is difficult, but the patient is still alive. And the hope is in the present and the future. That's why we are coming here, for the hope, to learn something. Our children, they go to the school, hopeful to succeed and to have a better future. The researcher is working in his lab with the hope to find something. The patient goes to the doctor with the hope to be cured. Hope is there. But we need to act to make it, so this world can endure with the truth and justice. Because the truth is the light. Truth is the right diagnosis, to set up the right treatment, not to continue blind. We need the truth and the light. And the truth, first of all, believe me, we all know the truth. Because we are in this world, we are 7 billion people. The anatomy of our hearts are similar. No difference in the anatomy. But the reality of our hearts are different. And who knows the reality of everyone's heart? It's each of us after God. We need to start the change and to seek the truth inside each of us. God will never change what is in people till they start to change what is in their hearts, minds, and souls. And justice, what is justice? Justice is to like for others what do I like for myself. If it is acceptable for me, to accept it for others. To put myself in the shoe of the others. Not to make it complicated. That's justice. That's why if we have the truth and justice, peace that we are missing in this world will be a consequence of the truth and justice. Peace is not a word. Peace, we need to live it and to fight for it and to touch it. And you see it in this world. Many people are working for peace. Many organizations. And sorry to say that, it became like peace business, peace industry. The more people are working for peace, the further peace is becoming. And no one is asking, why? We need to ask, why? When I treat a patient and the patient is not improving, I should stop. Maybe the diagnosis is wrong. The treatment is wrong. I should start. We need to ask and to do evaluation, not to continue blindly. But believe me, we know what is right and what is wrong. And it's time for us, when we speak about advocacy to fight in this world, no one is far from risk. Because the world is becoming smaller and smaller. Disease cross barriers. Violence cross barriers. What do we call terrorism cross barriers? So it's time to proact and to prevent, not to treat. When we proact and to prevent out of our borders and to smash these mental, physical barriers we created, we protect ourselves. It's time for us to speak out. What makes the evil flourish is good people to do nothing, thinking they are far from risk. Believe me, with what do you see on the screen, it hurts our children, it hurts our eyes, our feeling. We need to feel connected and to defend the freedom and justice of all, because all of us were born free. No one wasn't born free. But most important, no one is free as long as others are not. It's time to stand for the freedom of all, freedom of need, freedom from fear, of poverty, of oppression, of occupation, of suffering, of unemployment, of sickness. That's what do we need. It's time to stand for the freedom of all. At that time, this world will be the different one. And to remind you, for those who think of themselves and the risk is far from them, of the saying of Martin Niemöller, the German Protestant theologist. One day he said at the times of the Nazis, they came first. They came first for the communists. And I didn't speak out because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for the Catholic who wasn't Catholic. I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Catholic. Then they came for me. Sadly, by that time, no one was left to speak out to. How many million of people should be killed to turn a deaf ears and the blind eyes about? It's time to act and to speak out about the injustices and the suffering of the people in this world. When we defend them, we defend ourselves. That's the world we want to live in. And peace that we are thinking of, peace which must be just and good for all. It's not going to be just and good for one. It must be just and good for all. And it's not going to be. Peace is not considered peace that is by force. Peace must be by choice, with goodwill, with respect, and to respect the human needs and the freedom of all. I wrote my book, I Shall Not Hate, where the people were expecting me to hate. I may have the right to hate. But as I said, if I want to bring my daughters justice, it's not going to be with hate. As I said, I have to be strong, more focused and determined. And hatred is a disease. Once you are injected with this destructive disease, you will never be cured from. It's a poison which destroys the one who carries it. It's a fire which eats and wastes the one who's carrying. That's hatred. Instead of that, don't allow the idea of hatred to approach your body, to build a shield. You need to feel angry. I feel angry. Believe me, I go to visit the graves of my daughters to feel angry, not to accept what happened, and to take responsibility. What can I do to bring them justice? It's not with hatred. The biggest weapon of mass destruction is the hate in our souls. And if you want to challenge someone who did something wrong to you, it's not with hate. To be strong, to be determined, to move forward. Because in life, we face these tragedies. So don't accept in life to be a victim more than once. With the killing of my daughters, I was a victim, but I am not a victim anymore. I don't want to be a victim with the hate. With the hatred, I am going to be a victim. Don't allow that to invade you. The one who killed my daughters, he doesn't know about them. I will never give him this opportunity, even to be destroyed, but the opposite, to challenge and to move forward. And in life is a game. In soccer or any game, the result of the game is not determined by the start. The first minute. You have the future, you have the life. How can you challenge it and to succeed? The antidote of hatred is success. It's not revenge. It's success. And I learned from my daughters. My daughter Shada, who was severely wounded. She was in the high school. During the war, studying on candles, day and night, to be one of the top 10 in Palestine in the high school. She was severely wounded and spent 4 months in the hospital. Shada, 2 days after she was admitted into the hospital with the bandages over her eye and her right hand, she said, "If I can't see by my right eye, I have my left. If I can't write by my right hand, from tomorrow bring me pencils and papers to start to practice writing with my left hand." She spent 4 months in the hospital. She lost the sight in her right eye and 2 malformed fingers in her right hand. But she didn't lose the direction or the compass. Before finishing her treatment, she said, "I have to go back to achieve the plans of my sisters." I didn't expect much from Shada. And 22nd of July, the day we moved to Canada, they announced the result. And Shada succeeded as nothing happened to her. She succeeded 96%. What Shada is doing now, she's studying computer engineering at the University of Toronto. That's the challenge. That's the success, not to be drowning in the hatred and to be a victim of this hatred, but to move forward and to succeed. And that's what my daughters are waiting for, to send them prayers and good deeds. That's the message we need all to adopt and to practice. We need this action. I kept my daughters alive and will be kept alive because I don't believe they are dead. As long as I am living, they are living with me. They are breathing with me. I am talking to them. And in my life, I am in debt to my mother, my wife, and my daughters, without whom I will never be here or achieve what did I achieve. My success in life, they were behind it, and they paid a huge price for it. And I fully believe in the role of girls and women. Give me 5 women in the history who were behind the disaster in this world. You can't find. So it's time, because we, as men and women, we were created from Adam and Eve and became nations and the tribes. For what? To know each other. And knowing, someone may think of knowing to know the name or the face. Knowing is to show respect, passion, advocacy, and understanding. When you know someone, you read the eyes without telling you. You know what is in their hearts and minds. And it's time to know each other. And that's what my daughter Shada taught me. After I wrote the book and published in the States, I gave it to Shada to read it. 2 days later, my daughter Shada is writing me an email in Arabic to say, now, after reading the book, I knew my father. My daughter, who lived with me, she is 18 years old. I thought she knows me. And that's what do we need, to know each other, to connect, and to respect each other. That's why I fully believe in the role, not just the rights or status of women, but the role of women. And to make a difference, we need to try. Let us try, give them that role. And I am sure if they didn't succeed, they will never make it worse as it is now. But we need the courage, men and women, to come together to take that decision. That's why, in memory of Bisan, Mayar, Aya, and Noor, a foundation called Daughters for Life was established for education of girls and women from the Middle East without any discrimination, for girls who are succeeding from hardship. My daughters were able to achieve because they have the resources. What about other girls with the same potential but deprived of the resources? It's not the biology, it's the feeling, it's the humanity. And that's why Daughters for Life, because a healthy, educated girl and woman will raise a healthy, educated children, husband, family, community, and nation. Education of girls and women is the key for the change in the world. They used to say the 19th century is the European one. The 20th is an American one. It's time, the 21st, to be the century of women's role and the humanity, not politics. A humanity and women's role. We were able, within 2 years, to give, in 2011, 23 awards to newly graduate girls from Palestine, Israel, and Jordan. 2012, we gave 45 awards, and we included Lebanon to the 3 countries. We have now 4 girls studying to have their graduate studies and undergraduate in Canada. And in 2013-14, we expanded it to IIT, to Oxford University for these girls. And that's the way to keep Bisan, Mayar, Aya, and Noor alive, and to prove this tragedy is for good, not by words, but by action, because action resonates more than words. Let us all come together, because one can do everything, but each of us can do something. And this big event started by one, but all came together to make a difference. So, brothers and sisters, I came here because it's a message, and I believe in you. I believe in you. So have faith, have hope. But faith and hope without action means nothing. It's time to act. And in our life, we have priorities. The priority in life is not the past. The past is there as a doctor to build the present and the future of the patient, to have accurate diagnosis. But who is the present and the future? Our children. And it's a moral and a human responsibility. What legacy do we want to inherit and leave to our children? I succeeded in my life. I achieved all of my dreams. I have one dream. I hope to live till that dream is achieved. To see my living children living free in their country as other nations, as other children, with respect, in peace, where all are safe, secure, healthy, free, and happy. And I am sure this day will come soon, because I see the change is happening. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Why don't you ask this crowd to make donations to the foundation for women that you're talking about? They're moved, they're willing, they're able, they want to do something. Why don't you give them that opportunity?
Thank you so much. You know, believe me, I am living for it. And tomorrow, I hope, and we need your support, tomorrow I am meeting with the chancellor of a new college, and to ask him, we are not, of course, money is needed. We ask for scholarships where we can see girls from these countries coming to learn at these universities and to spread the message and to go back to make a difference. In any capacity, you can make a difference. It's most welcome, even to say a word about the foundation, to spread the word, to talk about it. It's a great blessing, either by word, by action, by money. You can do many things in this world. It's not only money. Some people, they think of only money. You can do many things. You can give a smile to any child in your community. Start with your community here, not to impact there, so you can make that difference. So I encourage you, join this foundation, to speak about it, to talk about it, and join us, and hope one day to have Daughters for Life as an American charity. Help us with finding that. We have it as a Canadian. We are moving to have it as European Daughters for Life. We want to spread. This is the message, to prove tragedies are not the end of the world. It's in our hands. Life is what we make it. Always has been, always will be. We can make from bad things something good. So we need to learn and to practice it.
Abuelaish, as an Israeli American, I want to find out, what is your idea of spreading peace? I am a daughter of a Holocaust survivor. My father is the most important figure in my life today. My mom passed away for brain aneurysm. You spoke about medicine quite a bit. I'm married to a neurosurgeon, and I want to know, besides the fact that education is the most important thing, and I gave it to my children, that they can lend with education anywhere in the world, how do you go about achieving peace between Israel and Palestine? Thank you.
Of course, education is important, but peace, as I said, of course, you need, what are we doing here and meeting, is the grassroots, spreading the knowledge, the understanding between us. But at the end, it needs a political will. And the political will, we need to be, as I said, to be honest with ourselves. What kind of leaders do we want to promote the just and long-lasting peace? Peace that is not dependent on military means. That's what is needed. We need these leaders. So it's time, those leaders, not to blame them. Who brought these leaders? It's we. We voted for them. So it's time to select the leaders who are and who believe in the just and long-lasting peace, the equal peace. Not to keep them away and to spread, to say, leaders. And we should not generalize, because when I go to the hospital, I don't say all of the patients are similar. We should point by the finger which leaders is a challenge to the peace process. Which leaders we need to point by the finger. This helps us to set up the right treatment and to speak out. not to feel shy and ashamed. Even if I am as a Palestinian, if the Palestinian leadership is an obstacle to the peace process, I should speak out. And for many, the North American Jews and the Israelis, to speak to the leaders, to the current and the present leadership, you are a challenge to the peace process. It's not going to last like that, because they have to understand that the safety, security, dignity, freedom, and the future of the Israelis is not dependent on the Palestinians. It's linked to the safety, dignity, future, and the freedom of the Palestinians. Israelis are not going to be free as long as Palestinians are not. So it's time to stand for the freedom of all.
Having the same idea as you, helping you and working with you, or only Palestinians?
You know, I can say to you, I am not exceptional as a Palestinian, and I am not exceptional even with my Israeli colleagues. The good people everywhere, they are there. Even among the Israelis, there are good people. So we should not generalize. And that's one of the messages in my life I learned. I can't say all of the Americans point by the finger, or to say Muslims. If someone is doing something wrong, speak about that person. Don't link the religion or the nationality or the ethnicity to say all Muslims or Jewish or Christians. People are people, and your fingers are not equal. So there are good and bad in this world. And personally, I worked in Israel for about 15 years. I felt one of my colleagues when they started to see me. And I became well known to see the Palestinian doctor. And to know me as a Palestinian doctor, that's what is needed. And you make your, because life, you make it. Respect, you don't ask others to respect you. Respect yourself, others will respect you. So it's time for us. There are Palestinians, I can't generalize, but someone to say all of Palestinians are, all Muslims are, or all Jewish or Christians. And even sometimes we politicize the situation. It's time to avoid politics. If Izzeldin did something wrong, say Izzeldin did it. Not to say Izzeldin, the Palestinian, the Muslim. What is the relation? I did it. Why do you link the religion and the nationality to that act? We must avoid it. But once we started to use these terms, this means we want to poison the relationship, and we have an agenda to do that.
Good evening. Thank you so much for being here. I guess my question is about, in English we have a saying about preaching to the choir, and I'm wondering about how we get people who are fanatics and terrorists to come together. Do you think that will be through a grassroots movement?
Personally, I go everywhere to speak. I don't mind what do we call by fanatic or terrorist. Maybe they don't know, because in this world, our enemies, you know what are our enemies in this world? Our ignorance, arrogance, fear, and greed. So we need to overcome the ignorance of each other. And the one who knows, to inform the one who doesn't. Not to say he is bad. We need to approach each other and to continue. If I didn't succeed the first, I have to try and to continue till I change. Because the change is not going to happen overnight. A change sometimes takes time, because the peace is not a word. It's a social movement. And any social, like war is a social action, social movement. You create the momentum even the atmosphere to be poisoned with the war. So you need also at the same time the social action and movement to outreach everyone and not to give up.
Dr. Abuelaish.
Thank you.
A couple of people I'd like to thank that weren't thanked earlier. One is Mitch Weiss, our executive director, who really coordinated all the details for this wonderful event, as well as our office staff and maintenance staff who've been working tirelessly. Dr. Abuelaish, you have brought great honor to Temple Beth Shalom and our large, diverse community who has gathered this evening to hear your message. We thank you so much. At the conclusion of my very brief remarks, Dr. Abuelaish will be sitting over there. We have his book in both hardcover and paperback, and if you'd like to meet him and have him autograph your book, they are for sale. If you would just come down the main center aisle and walk this way, we can do it in an orderly fashion. Dr. Miller, the head of Johns Hopkins Medicine, had a difficult phone call to Michael Bloomberg, the Jewish mayor of New York City, when he realized the planned new Charlotte R. Bloomberg Children's Center in Baltimore, named after the mayor's mother, would be connected to a new tower named for Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, the former president of the United Arab Emirates. Dr. Miller nervously called the mayor. "Will you have a problem with this?" he asked Mr. Bloomberg. The mayor thanked him for the call, but made it clear he had no objection. Quote, "A Jew on one side and an Arab on the other," he told Dr. Miller. "That's what we should do in this world." Everyone is now invited for desserts and coffee in the rear of the sanctuary and the outside. We thank the Florida Holocaust Museum in St. Petersburg for sponsoring the reception. Thank you.